Hello students, today in science we are going to see a new part which is about part of the skeleton. In the last class we have learnt what do you mean by skeleton, how many bones are there in our body and function of the skeletal system. Till here we have completed this portion in previous class. Now today we will continue from page number 174. Parts of the skeleton. First one is the skull. The skull is made up of 22 bones. The 14 bones of the face and 18 bones of the cranium together make up the skull. It is a bony box-like structure where all the bones are fixed together. That means are immovable. Except for the lower jaw. This is lower jaw that is fixed to the base of the cranium by movable joints. These are fixed to the base of the cranium by movable joints. That is how we are able to talk and eat. This is lower jaw. The cranium, this is cranium, encloses and protects all the important brain. The skull also forms the structure for the face. See here, one activity is there. Put 2 fingers on your upper jaw. This is upper jaw. Put 2 fingers on your upper jaw and open your mouth. You can immediately feel that it is the lower jaw. This is upper jaw. This is lower jaw. You can immediately feel that it is the lower jaw that moves, not the upper jaw moves. Okay, only lower jaw only always moves. Okay, see here, right round shape, square shape and oval shape, oval based each face. Which shape in your own face? Right here. Okay. You also write in your own face which shape is this. Okay. Next, backbone. The backbone or spine. The skull is attached to the backbone, which form the main axis of the skeleton. It is made up of 33 bones. It is made up of 33 bones, 33 small bones. See here, these are the small bones here. It is made up of 33 small bones called vertebrae. What we call vertebra. See here, these are vertebra, which form a strong column called the vertebral column. The vertebral column protects the delicate spinal cord. This is spinal cord. The backbone also called the spine or the spinal column, vertebral, is made up of 33 irregular ring-like bones. Here these are vertebrae. These bones lay on top of each other and each has a hole right throughout it. The spinal cord, which carries messages to and from the brain, runs through the column called the vertebral column. The skull rests on top of this column. The backbone protects this all important spinal cord, without which we would not be able to perform any function at all. Okay. Next, see here, activity. Some insects are there. Identify the animals. Okay. First one is, this is jellyfish, this is earthworm, this is housefly, this is centipede, this is butterfly, this is snail, and this is hydrilla, this is sponge. Do you know, children, what is common in them? What is common in them? They do not have skeletal system. Okay, butterflies, snails, earthworms, jellyfish, housefly, centipede, sponge, hydrilla, these are do not have skeletal system. Yes or no? Yes. Next, see here, what is this? This is rib cage. The rib cage. There are 12 pairs. See here, count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 pairs of bow-shaped ribs which form a cage and enclose the heart and the lungs. The rib are delicate covered bones which are joined to the backbone and breastbone. This is breastbone, that is backbone. The ribs are delicate covered bones which are joined to the backbone and breastbone. The lowest two pairs, see here, these are the lowest two pairs called floating ribs, are joined only to the backbone. See here. The organs inside the chest, like the heart and lungs, are protected by a bony cage called the rib cage. What do you mean by rib cage? The organs inside the chest, like the heart and lungs, are protected by a bony cage called the rib cage. 12 pairs of bones from the ribs. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are attached to the breastbone. This is breastbone, that is sternum, in front and to the vertebral column at the back, forming a cage of bones. The last two pairs here, the last two pairs of ribs, the L1 and the 12th are attached to the vertebral column but not attached to the breastbone. These are known as floating ribs. Okay. Okay, children, see here, one question is there. Do the floating ribs really float in the body? Do the floating ribs really float in the body? The floating ribs are attached only to the vertebrae and not to the sternum or cartilage of the sternum. They do not float in the body. Their elasticity allows ribcage movement for respiratory activity. Okay, next. Next, the limbs. These are limbs. The forelimbs or the arms are joined to the spine with the help of the shoulder. See here. Shoulder girdle, consisting of a pair of shoulder blade and a pair of collar bones. The powerful thigh bone called femur. See here. This is thigh bone. This is the bones of the legs are minor. The femur is therefore it has to support the strongest and longest bone end of the femur fits into the lower and into knee joint. See here. Knee joint, fibula and tibia. Bears the weight of the whole body. Femur bears the weight of the whole body. It is the longest bone in our body. Femur, it is the longest bone in our body. The femur fits into the hip girdle. See here. Hip girdle. With a ball and shocked joint and is connected to the lower leg at the knee joint. See here, knee joint. This is kneecap. The long bones of the skeleton are hollow and are filled with a soft fatty substance called bone marrow. Okay. See here. Two pairs of limbs from the appendicular skeleton, a pair of forelimbs, that is arms, and a pair of hind limbs, legs. See here. The forelimbs fit into the shoulder girdle on each side. The hind limbs are attached to the hip girdle. Hip girdle on each side. The forelimb fit into the shoulder girdle on each side. Okay. Each arm is made of upper arm and the radius upper end of the humerus. The hand is attached to the wrist, palm and fingers. This is palm, wrist, this is ulna, humerus. Next, three long bones. The humerus in the and ulna. This is ulna in the forearm. The pits into the shoulder girdle. See here. The pits into the shoulder girdle. Forearms by the wrist bones. This is wrist bones. Have many small bones. Okay. Next, arranged in each arm is made up of three long bones. The humerus in the upper arm and the radius and ulna in the forearm. The upper end of the humerus fits into the shoulder girdle. The hand is attached to the forearms by the wrist bones. The wrist, palm and fingers have many small bones. Next, The bones of the legs are arranged in a similar manner. The femur is in the upper part of the leg. See here. Femur is in the upper part of the leg and therefore it has to support the weight of the body. It is the strongest and longest bone of the skeleton. Femur is strongest and longest bone of the skeleton. The upper end of the femur, it fits into the pelvis or hip girdle. This is hip girdle, and the lower end to the knee joint. Below the knee are the fibula and tibia. Okay, children. Next, the joints. The joints. A joint is the meeting point of two bones held together by strong tissue called ligaments. There are several joints in our body. All the joints except those in the skull are movable. The bones in the skull are interlocked, making the joints immovable. The skeleton is made up of a number of bones. See here. The bones join together to form a framework. The point where two bones meet or join together is called a joint. All movement takes place at points where two bones meet. See here. These are two bones meet. All bones in the skull, see here, this is skull. All bones in the skull are pitched together except the lower jaw. This is lower jaw. This is skull. The pivot joint connecting head to spine. See here, this is pivot joint connecting head to spine enables the head to turn from side to side and up and down. Next, see here, this is ball and socket. The ball and socket joint is in the hips and shoulders, allow movement in nearly all directions. Next, saddle joints in the thumbs permit up and down and side to side movements, so we are able to touch the other fingers. Okay. Next, hinge joints in the elbows, knees and fingers allow bending and straightening. Next, plane joints in the ankles and wrist permit small gliding movements. The movable joints, the bones at the joints move smoothly because of the fluid which acts like a lubricant. There are 4 types of movable joints in our body. A hinge joint, see here, hinge joint is like the hinges in a door. It can move the bones only in one direction. The elbows, knees, fingers and toes have hinge joints. Next, this is the ball and socket joints allows maximum movements as displayed by ballet dancers. One bone that ends in a ball fits into the socket of the other. Hip and shoulder joints are of this type. Okay. Next, third one, a pivot joint. See here, this is pivot joints is found between the skull and the first 2 vertebrae of the spine. The uppermost vertebrae in the neck is called atlas. We can move our head sideways, upward and downward with the help of the pivot joints. Okay, next last one, gliding joints. Gliding joints or saddle joints. Joints allows movement at the wrist and ankle. See here, this is wrist. Gliding joints allows movement for the wrist and ankle and also between any two vertebrae of the spine. It allows our back to bend, twist and turn at each joint. What would happen if your backbone was made up of just one long bone? It would make you look as stiff as a sparrow. Okay, children, the three bones of the hind limbs meet at the knee. See here. The lower end of the femur meets the upper end of the fibula and tibia. Cartilage covers the ends of the bones and provides a protective layer so the bones don't rub against each other. Synovial fluid fills the space inside the joints here. Next, ligaments are strong bands of fiber. Here, ligaments are strong bands of fiber like tissue that hold the bones close together at the joint. Okay, children, today we have learnt parts of the skeleton, the skull, the backbone or spine, the rib cage, the limbs, okay, and joints. Okay, next we will continue next class. Take care. Bye.